Hello from Bali. This is a podcast Pigeon of Peace where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about psychotherapy and let's start with the definition.
Psychotherapy, this science how to treat people, to help them to get out from a labyrinth of their заблуждений,
Misunderstandings,
problems, and so on. You know, it's so unusual, but almost daily I read one, sometimes two books, and for last several months I found myself surrounded by a book about psychology. So many of them. This about narcissism. This about personal borders. This is about private life. This is about relationship in family or relationship with parents. And when I read those books, I always think, why people have so many problems? And it's a very strange fashion to say, if I have problem in my life, this is because of my parents. And psychotherapy, this how to deal with these people or with yourself. Sometimes you could understand that you have problem because you have severe father, or maybe you was rejected by your mother, or maybe you was thrown up or broken up with some beloved one. But this is not the end of your life. You could close this door and you can open another. By the way, this is a Russian joke. There is a Russian car. It has a name Moskvich, and one man is saying to another, if you will close another one door, another will open. And the man would reply, yes, I'm as owner of a Moskvich, I know it.
Well, this is good one. Definitely need to make a note. And given that at the places where I'm actually currently located, there are a lot of, like people who just like want to be spiritual or whatever. But it feels like the moment, like you hear or these people, and I also mean internet or like any other places, the moment that they open their mouths, you feel like, okay, they can't really speak well. They not sure about the stuff. There is like a lot of noise and there are not so many signals. So it feels like, okay, someone who might be well decorated, but you don't want them like to, work on the most sensitive matter, which is your soul. So meaning that, like all of this psychotherapy, thanks to, and again, like I would put this in the quotes, thanks to all of the, like people probably from the street is getting less less demanding, so people would just like try to find the different ways. So how to maybe overcome, how to find the right person to speak, like what should we look at the psychotherapist, and maybe vice versa, like if you want to make sure that you are credible, how do you prove it to your patients?
That's quite a difficult question. I have a lot of couples which were divorced because they started from quarrels. Then they have some problems. And poor people, they think that this is about money. But I am talking about quite rich families. So they have enough money and they have shares in the companies. They have homes, they have factories and plants, but they have no close connections. Sometimes you have a family because it started from the sex. This is a Russian joke. Maybe you'll help me to translate it. Who was the initiator of your marriage? My dick.
Well, this is funny enough. Yes. And when we look into the psychotherapist as well, like it's also might be if we look at it from the maybe like a user journey point of view, there's also maybe like a journey, like how you like introduce yourself, how the questions will be asked, how you will be like looked into the problem. So what are the steps that psychotherapists might be like introducing to the patient, or maybe what's something patients should be aware about to understand, okay, we actually at this point in my journey and this is where it probably will end?
Maxim, I always say on the lectures in School of Troubleshooter that if you're working as a troubleshooter or any other professional, sometime you will feel yourself like a psychiatrist, psychotherapist, because when you have a customer, he or she will spend at least 20 or 25 minutes to talk about transport, to talk about weather, to talk about problems in life, to talk about lack of money, lack of respect, lack of people who are able to fulfill the job, and so on. And if you are clever enough, you will include this time in your time schedule, in your bill also. But if people will tell you everything about their life, they would be like a boiling water, which is want to go out of the can. They will start to become calm, and it would be easy to make a conversation. But if you will not take this time, and people will not tell everything they want to you or to anyone else, you couldn't start to do the job. And when we talk about Americans, they use small talk. This is quite a ritual. But if you work with, for example, Russians, they always are angry at something, and this is quite different from European people. European people always laugh, and they have problem, but they spend them, they solve them at home. They speak with beer, speak with TV, they speak with neighbors. But Russian people will tell about problems with everyone. For example, you have a friend of yours, and he is getting to be divorced, or maybe he is quitting a job, maybe he was losing his company. And if you will spend several days with him, on each meeting, he will tell almost the same. And you know, it's very strange, because it looks like it has no end. But if you will understand that you have like a zoo in your head, elephant is your main problem. Giraffes, this problem which occurs sometime because they will rise when you remember something. There are also monkeys, small problems which are taking you so long. For example, your body, your illness, your relatives, and so on. But it also would be snakes. They are so hidden in the grass that you do not want to look down to find them. But sometimes it's not about your wife or your husband, not about your job, not about your employees. This is about yourself. You want to be controlling. You want to be a king in your universe, but sometimes it's almost impossible. And you know, for example, in a Quran, this holy book of Muslim, there is a saying, sometime king should be lower than a shepherd. And I like this phrase, because if you want to be a king, it's almost impossible to make it on all the territory. You could be a king at your office or at your home, but you couldn't be king in any shop or at any given cinema or club.
And speaking about walking in someone else's shoes, and like observing what they say, and maybe like showing the empathy. I do remember a couple of years back, I've heard about this special department at YouTube that would work at the censorship area. And before, like all of this AI that could like cut all of this like a weird and dark videos, because like weird people can post a weird stuff. There also was like a group of people who actually like would look into this video, and probably they would develop like a few or more like a silver hair by watching at this. And again, like this is like observing something. So what might be like a good approach, and maybe let's talk about from the, I would say, like IT point of view, what should be like the military zone, what should be like the buffer that you should put in advance when you're trying to observe someone else's information, when you're trying to process, when you even need to put the facade to actually like show the empathy, show that you do understand, and maybe like giving some reasonable responses, or maybe give a reasonable silence.
Good question, and I will need your help to translate something. I will offer a method which is called like aiming, целеполагание, или круги, circles of your control. And if you have someone who is new in your relations, for example, new employee, or maybe just a kid, or your new знакомый,
acquaintance,
you will stay at very long distance. So you will not tell everything to them, because they are not already invited in your inner soul. But for example, if you have child, wife, or husband, or very преданный,
devoted.
Or very devoted friend, neighbor, or maybe your deputy, you will talk almost with everything. Maybe you also found this. For example, sometime between our recordings, I take some time to write something in WhatsApp, in Skype, or in email. And yes, I know this is not a cultural, but from my point of view, this I know that you are at my side, so you would not quarrel. So I do not expect something bad from you. And you should be very careful to letting someone in this your inner circle. If you feel sometime yourself bad when you stay in with one room, in one cabinet, in one car, you maybe should get out or get rid of this person because he is spoiling your life.
Well, I do believe it's also, like sometimes you might be feel that, even at work, even at home, yes, you could show that you relaxed, or like you could show that like you totally into something, but at certain point of time, you also maybe second part of you, or maybe even third part of you, or like a bottom or whatever, is actually aware of thinking that something is going on. And it comes to like another question. Sometimes like this psychotherapy could be also applied to you, whether it's, again, like I will try to speak from the IT point of view, like a background process that constantly like runs all of these procedures, so you unconsciously like a cleaning all of those garbage that's going on, and you can proceed. So how to develop this kind of thing that I would say it's like a watchdog that makes sure that you're not going crazy, that you like you keep playing your roles, that you keep like being a nice guy, you can keep like fulfill your duties.
Now I will use backfire. Sometimes when we finish our recording, I will tell you, Maxim, now you are smiling and I like it. And I will explain you why right now. When I was working in Germany, it was like 31 years ago, I was asked by my bosses, why are you so not smiling? Are you angry? Are you tired? And I was saying, no, I'm just working under my programming, under my assembly and so on. And they asked me, yes, but you work in a good company. You wear a good suit. You sitting in a good cabinet. You have a nice notebook and so on. You should smile to show everyone that you are happy. It is much easier to work with happy people. And it take me, I don't know exactly, but maybe like several months. And suddenly I found myself, I am always smiling when I was working with people. And it was like a watchdog. So sometime I was checking myself in some mirror, in some window, I am smiling or not. And then I was working in Alpha Capital investment company, Alpha Bank, and so on. And many people were saying, why are you smiling so much? Are you happy or something like this? And I was saying, yes, I'm smiling because I forced it to do. I work with clients, I work with shareholders or stakeholders, and they want to know that everything in ordnum, as Germans say, everything on their places. If I would be хмурый, severe,
Grumpy.
if I would be grumpy, if I would be sitting with, I don't know how to, jumping eyes, if I would be thinking very hard, everyone would understand that something is wrong. So you should be like an officer of your life. You stand on the horse, on the highland, and everything is under your control, and you have nothing to worry about.
And then my last question will be, how knowing about psychotherapy could help to make this world a better place?
If you will be a grown-up person, you will find that when you stand on the ground, when you're quite центрированный,
Focused.
if you're focused or well-centered, some people will ask you to give advice, to seek to way to speak with you. They will give you their problems, and if you will listen to them carefully, you will understand, yes, I can't handle this. I could explain what you should do. And people will say you, oh, come on, it was so well done, and they will come back and they will ask almost the same question. And it's very strange. People do not want to lead their life by themselves, but they will come to you. You will have a great experience. You will help to other people, but they would be without you like without hands. But from other point of view, you should sometimes spend time for yourself and think, are you going on the right direction, on the right track? I know a lot of people which will help to cure people, to fix something from technical point of view, but they have problem in their life. And I often ask them, you are a fixer. So for example, you're a plumber, you're a carpenter, you could create such a good things. Why you could not create a life? You should be like IT guy. First, you should build architecture. Then you should think about how to make it in physical way, and then in logical way. For example, if you want to be happy, you should find what is мешать, disturbing you, and you should
Yes.
distracting you, and you should avoid obstacles and people and places you don't like. You should eat what you like. You should listen what you want. Never go to the places where you couldn't feel yourself happy. Your brain is like a machine. If you will process good news, good food, and good knowledge, you will also create a good product for people which would be happy after they will gain it.
And we review the skill of psychotherapy and how it could be helpful for you. Stay in peace.